What's going on, guys? Welcome back to 100% Chelsea and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Transfer Show. The show where we're going to be talking about any possible transfer rumours going in and out of Chelsea Football Club. So guys, if you want to be the first to know whenever we upload a video like this, don't forget to like and subscribe down below, and don't forget to hit the bell notification button as well if you want to be the first to know whenever any of our content's coming out. Now, the first piece of news we're going to be talking about is Gonzalo Higuain, and sources are coming out saying that Chelsea are set to make an official offer of around 60 million for Higuain, and it makes sense for Juventus because with the Cristiano Ronaldo transfer that has now been confirmed, Juventus are going to need to sell some players to try and make up some cash to fit in with financial fair play regulations. So it makes sense that they're going to be trying to start offering some players out to other clubs, and Gonzalo Higuain has been offered to Chelsea. Now, 11 days ago, Higuain's brother/agent did come out and say, we're not in talks with Chelsea. He wants to respect his contract with Juventus, and it would be great to see Higuain and Cristiano Ronaldo playing together again. But that doesn't mean Chelsea aren't going to test the waters. They might try and see what they can get for Higuain. Now, a positive of this transfer is Higuain does understand Sarri's style of play, which means he could immediately slot into the team well and mesh up with Sarri's style of play. But, in my opinion, this wouldn't be worth the money, mainly because for a 30-year-old, I don't believe Juventus are going to be asking for a lot of money. We've already put in an offer of around 60 million, allegedly. And for me, I think for a 30-year-old, it doesn't make sense. I wouldn't want to put that sort of money in unless he would have a Van Persie effect for Man United and drag us straight to the league title. And personally, I don't know if Higuain would do that. If he could, I'd be happy to pay the money because it would take us straight back to the top, and then we could just start again, just like when Conte came and he took us straight to league title straight away. Another reason why I'm not really that keen on the Higuain deal is because he would potentially be our fifth striker alongside Alvaro Morata, Tammy Abraham, Michy Batshuayi and Olivier Giroud. Now, for me, I would want to see Alvaro Morata start for us next season. I think this system could suit him a lot better than Conte's system would. I don't think Morata was doing well as a target man because strength has been a huge problem for him last season. His strength on the ball was poor. His aggression was poor. He'd always be the first to drop onto the floor and dive and try to pull fouls which just weren't working. And I think in Sarri's system it could be a lot more different. I think he could focus more on his movement off the ball, his runs in behind. Things that were working well for him before. Things that were working well for him last season. His movement off the ball was great. It was just his finish that let him down. If he can improve his finishing, I think he could thrive a lot in Sarri's system. So for me, it'd be the case of I'd rather not stunt Morata's development. I'd rather not have another striker in the way of Tammy Abraham's potential development, Michy Batshuayi as well. So for me, I think unless Higuain could drag us straight to the league title, I personally would not want Higuain to join Chelsea, but that's just my opinion. Now, on to the second piece of news, and this is the news that I'm sure everyone's heard by now. Hazard and Courtois are rumoured to be leaving Chelsea to go to Real Madrid. Now, I'm going to throw a bunch of quotes at you guys, so just bear with me. But the first quote is the one that I'm sure everyone's heard of. Hazard's quote after the England game for the third place playoff. He said, after 6 wonderful years at Chelsea, it might be time to discover something different. Certainly after this World Cup, I can decide if I want to stay or go, but Chelsea will make the final decision. If they want to let me go, you know my preferred destination. And by that he means Real Madrid. Eden Hazard also came out and said, we knew already for a while that Sarri was going to become the new manager. If he's a good manager, if he lets me win trophies, yes. Dries Mertens has told me he's a good coach. We'll have to work hard the Italian way, but we're used to that with Antonio too. Thibaut Courtois then came out and said, wherever I go, Eden must follow. We will not let each other go. So that adds fuel to the fire that Courtois could be leaving as well. Another quote from Courtois said, I could sign an extension because I'm happy in London, but he also seemed to hint that he could also run down his contract as well because he has got 1 year left. He said, people always complain that players don't comply with their contracts, but maybe they do. I don't think they'll keep some of my qualities on the bench, even if I don't sign. I will go back and see what they want and how they say it. Which is basically him saying, even if I don't sign, they're not going to just leave me to rot on the bench because the other options are not on my level, which is a fair point to make. But for me, in the case, for me, with all these quotes coming out, as well as Roberto Martinez, the Belgian manager, also coming out and saying it could be the best time for Hazard to try something different. Players need new challenges and new projects. Perhaps it's a good time for Chelsea and for Eden to split. Which also makes me think that maybe their heads start to get turned a little bit during the World Cup, because if Martinez is coming out and saying it now, he must have had a word with them as well during the World Cup. Now, there's sources in Spain that have said that Chelsea have closed the door to a Hazard exit, and other sources have backed that up by saying Hazard was told by Chelsea that he had till April to decide whether or not he wanted to stay. But they've also come out and said today that the Courtois deal could be sorted as soon as today. The source is Radio Cope. I think I've pronounced it right. I'm not sure. If I'm not, sorry, like, my pronunciation has been really poor. But from all of these quotes, from just reading it and like properly looking deep into the words, I think Hazard, in my opinion, would be the one that's more likely to stay than Thibaut Courtois. Hazard has said Chelsea will make the final decision. He said it might be time to discover something different, but he has not made any hint that he's willing to force the move. I think, for me, I think Hazard is likely to stay at the end of this summer transfer window, but my worries for next year. Because for me, it's a case of if we don't make top 4, Hazard will be more inclined to force a move, because let's be honest, the Europa League is not Hazard's level. You can make a case for it this season because Hazard was in the Chelsea side that failed to make the top 4. But for next season, Hazard, let's be real, Hazard's level is the Champions League. It is. And I think if we don't make top 4, he will be gone next year. But for this year, I think we'll be okay. Courtois, on the other hand, I think will be going, mainly because Courtois has always been out in the media saying little hints that he wants to go. Just more quotes coming in. Early this year, he said, "My heart's in Madrid," talking about how his family is in Madrid, how his kids are in Madrid, his ex-girlfriend or ex-wife has custody of the kids. And I fully understand that going to be with your kids is a perfectly good reason for you to want to leave, but I feel like the way Courtois has gone about is just poor. I think he's tried to use the media to his advantage. I think the way he's gone about them in the media on multiple occasions has been disrespectful to the club, especially the club that has tried to make him as comfortable as possible. We got rid of our best ever goalkeeper, Petr Cech, for him. We got rid of Christophe Lolichon for him, and we removed him as a goalkeeping coach. He's been asking to be the most expensive paid goalkeeper, the highest paid goalkeeper in the world, but his performances don't show it. Granted, he has had a good World Cup performance, but in the league, it's not been worth it. There are goalkeepers out there that have been better than him, and goalkeepers that deserve a higher wage than he does. But I think the way Courtois has come out and the way Courtois has handled everything, I think has been poor. And I think with Courtois even hinting that he wants to run down his contract, I think it would be best for us to cash in while we still can, because in January he'll have 6 months left on his contract and he'll be free to talk to other clubs. And if we don't make the move now, he'll make the move himself. We've got to make a decision, and we have to make it quickly, because our transfer window closed on August the 9th. But with the rest of Europe, they still have till the end of August. So when our window shuts, Real Madrid can still be speaking to Hazard and Courtois. And if we lose Hazard and or Courtois, and we can't get a replacement, then next season's only going to look worse for us. Moving on to our last piece of news, and sources are saying that Chelsea and CSKA Moscow have agreed terms for a deal to sign Alexander Golovin. The player has rejected Monaco's offer to sign him, and Juventus have also failed to make any advances in the meantime. So the way things are looking right now, it looks like Golovin will be coming to Chelsea, and personally I think this is the perfect third midfielder to play alongside Jorginho and Kante in Sarri's 4-3-3. I think it'll be the perfect third midfielder for our 4-3-3 formation, because he'll be playing as a more attacking minded midfielder. Golovin is a very strong dribbler of the ball. He can move the ball forward quickly, he can shoot from distance, and he also has a good pass on him, which means that this would be the perfect addition. This guy would be the one that could push the ball forward. Jorginho would be playing as the deep line playmaker. You'd have Kante as the more defensive mind of the three, and you'd have Golovin as the more attacking mind of the three. I think Golovin would complete our midfield three, and I think it would also leave us in a much better position in terms of fighting for the top four. Because let's be honest, the top four is where we're trying to be fighting to get to next season. Anyone who thinks that we're trying to go for the title, we're not going for the title. Our aim is to get top four, and I think if we get Golovin, it greatly increases our chances. He's had a brilliant World Cup. He'd be a brilliant addition to our midfield. And I think our only weakness with signing Golovin is that with Golovin, Jorginho and Kante all being under 5'10", we would lose a lot of the aerial battles in midfield, but the positives greatly outweigh the negatives. But guys, let me know your thoughts on any of the news that I've been talking about. Let me know if you agree or disagree with anything I've said, and don't forget to like and subscribe to 100% Chelsea. All social media links will be down in the description below for Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Up the Chelsea.